So this is my final major project proposal. So my initial idea is to create a short documentary on social media and how social media affects our generation and how it has affected me growing up. Why do I want to do this? I want to do it because it has affected me growing up, as I have sometimes felt you've had to look or be a certain way on social media. I believe that it has a really bad effect on a lot of teenagers' mental health and self-esteem, as I feel we often compare ourselves to people who are just not realistic, and it can affect us. So what I plan to achieve by my project, I plan to use my own experience and other teenagers' experience aged between about 12 and 18 is my target audience, to learn and get a better understanding of how social media affects our generation for positive and negative. The topic I'm focusing on is more of a negative thing, but I'm trying to turn it into a positive. So I'm trying to educate myself on how to use it in a positive way. So how do I plan to do this? I plan to do interviews with teenagers aged between 12 and 18 and ask some questions on how social media affects them, and if they think it has a positive or negative effect on them. So I'll be asking them questions such as, is their feed negative? Do they follow negative accounts and how that impacts them? I also plan to go into Carlisle and ask the general public their opinions on social media. This will give me a wider range of audience, as I'll be asking people of all ages, and it will help me understand the relationship between parents and children, as the older generation didn't grow up with social media. So I'd like to see how that has affected their relationship and how they think it's affected us. So these are some videos that have inspired me. I'll just play a little bit of them.
Hi guys, can I be your friend? Can I write on your wall?
No.
Will you be my friend? But I write on all my friends' walls.
I think I'd have to know you before I was your friend.
All my friends have got like 180 friends. I've only got 2.
Yeah?
Would it help if maybe like you looked at my photos? That one's with 2 like really pretty girls. Like, you know, that's my ex. You know, I was in a relationship with her, but you know, I've changed my status now.
So that video basically is just showing how your online life would look if it was in real life. And I like it because it just shows that it would be quite weird if your online life was in real life. So I'll show the second video as well. This video inspired me because it shows that not everything you see on social media is real. And this is what I'm mostly focusing mine on.
Airwick, new pure beach escapes.
So yeah, that video basically just shows how easy it is to fake a whole life over social media, and how we shouldn't always believe everything we see. The other 2 videos, that third one is a TED Talks, and it basically, I won't show it because it is a very long video, but basically talked about facts of how social media is bad for our mental health, and it showed like statistics and stuff about how it can affect teenagers' mental health and stuff. So this is my mood board of inspiration. So obviously I first got inspired because I use social media and how it's taken over the world. Like, the amount of people who are on social media, it's just taken over the world. So obviously we share like our whole lives, a lot of us share our whole lives over social media, and I just believe that we shouldn't always believe everything we see, basically, and we shouldn't use it in a bad way. Like, I'm trying to put out a message of how to use it in a more positive way, to make sure we see more positive things that will make us happier, instead of comparing ourselves and feeling negative about it. So this is how I expect my final piece to look like. Top left is when I'll be doing the interviews. Obviously it'll be like filmed, but yeah, I'm thinking of doing the interviews in the studio, and getting people in to do that. And then obviously this one will be for when I go out into Carlisle and interview people. And I'm also thinking to obviously get a bit of story behind it at the start. Have potentially in the bottom right, like a girl or male like scrolling through their phone and just looking on social media, and maybe some groups of teenagers all on their phones, maybe ignoring each other as well, and just showing how we sometimes forget to socialise in real life because of how much we're on our phones. So I'll be adding a bit of story to it with actresses and actors. So what could go wrong? Filming in public could be difficult, as obviously a lot of people won't want to be on camera, and the people we do get on camera, we'll have to make sure we have their permission. Theft and security as well, we'll have to make sure I keep all the equipment. So I will obviously be taking maybe 2 people out with me to help film this when we go out into the streets. Also people trolling, so they could just jump in the camera and shout stuff like you see it on the news, people just shout and wave and stuff. Hopefully that won't happen. And also interviewing teenagers and the public, they might not be confident. Also the weather might be bad, so if we do film, then the content might not be good enough to use, depending on how good the audio is and the weather. So this is my schedule. So week 1, which is this week, I've been doing my research and obviously my pitch. So primary research, secondary research and all that. Week 2 next week, I'll be doing the pre-production and my shot list and storyboard. I'm a script as such, because obviously I don't know what my interviewers are going to say. So yeah, and test shots. I might also try and get a bit of filming done next week if I'm prepared for it. So the following week, that is when I have planned to film. So obviously in college and in Carlisle. And then week 4 is editing and adding music to it, and my evaluation as well. So that all comes in the last week. And what I'm focusing on, just to make sure it's clear, obviously social media is a big area, but I am mostly focusing it on how people can fake their lives, and we shouldn't always compare ourselves, and we shouldn't believe everything we see, and how what we see is only people's highlights. So I'm basically doing a documentary on how to take the negatives of this and turn it into positives, and using other people's opinions to do that. And this is just a photo of a tweet that I saw, and it basically just said about how people post things, but there's always a story behind it, and we don't always see people's lows. We only see their highlights, but there always is lows. Everyone has their lows. So, and that went viral. It got a lot of likes. So obviously this does affect a lot of people. Any questions? Yes.
Just out of interest, I don't know if you're aware, but this morning on the news or something, they said Instagram's releasing a new thing where other people can't see how many likes you got on something, but obviously the person who posted it can. They're testing it in Canada or something. Do you think you would put that into your research and like your film and things, like to see if that would be a positive effect on people, because they wouldn't be like comparing how many likes you got to like a friend?
Yeah, definitely. I think that would actually be a good thing. I'd like to see if that would work, because obviously another thing, when I looked into my research on that TED Talks, it says a lot of businesses use social media, which I think is a positive because they can promote their business and like get following from that. But when we post pictures, in a way it's like we're kind of selling ourselves. We are posting this picture wanting to get likes, but why do we need them? Why do we feel like we need to get that? So yeah, I think it would be good to see if that would work. Yeah.
You said at the start of your presentation that it affects other people and it's affected you. How has it affected you?
It's affected me because not so much now, but definitely maybe like younger years, year 9 as such, I definitely held back from posting a lot of things online on my social media because I felt I would maybe get judged, just judgment around certain things you could and couldn't post, and that affected me a lot. Yeah.
Are you going to include that in your film? Is it going to be sort of like your story and how you've suffered as well as other people?
Yeah, I am, because I'm thinking that I'm going to do quite a lot of voiceover in it. Obviously I'll be cutting in and out of the interviews, and that'll be the main part of it, but I think as well I will be voiceovering my experience and my views on it as well.
Yeah, I think I saw some statistics about how how children are younger, people like say year 9, are affected by how many likes they get and kind of how it affects their moods and their feeling of worth and things.
Yeah.
So I think it's only going to get worse unless
Definitely.
social media's modified in some way to and I think it's almost like a Nietzschean thing where there are certain people that get a lot more likes, and it's
Yeah.
almost like there's a certain type of person that attracts more popularity than others, and I think that's, if they look a certain way or they have supposedly have a certain type of life, like you say, I've seen those films that you showed for your ideas development, and I think they're really effective in showing kind of how people almost have a persona on social media, and I think some people do have that and kind of sell themselves in certain ways on social media, and it can work, there are people who have, like the Kardashians have millions and millions. They have like almost, doesn't Kylie Jenner have 1 billion followers or something? That's insane. That you could look into why people who has the biggest social media followings and kind of look into why they have that and what they are selling makes them so popular.
There's maybe something to question about the morals behind that as well.
Yeah.
So like, Kylie Jenner's reach and stuff, and the money she makes on that, she's the youngest self-made billionaire.
Yeah.
But what she sells isn't really, it's that thing of, she's not selling the truth, is it?
Yeah.
She's not, doesn't look the way she looks because of the makeup that she sells, which is what she uses social media for. She looks the way she looks because of all the thousands she spent on plastic surgery and stuff like that. But is that a moral thing of, she's basically abusing hundreds of thousands of like, young women in that same situation going, but I want to be her because she's so popular and successful off the back of it. There's maybe a thing to talk about around that a little bit of what's the moral basis of using that kind of...
And there's that presenter that used to be BBC presenter, Jamila somebody, she's an actress now, and she's kind of
she's really good actually on
calling
Twitter.
out people and calling them liars and saying you're selling something that's not real with your slimming teas and all this kind of stuff. So, you have personal chefs, you have makeup artists, you have hairdressers, you've got personal trainers that are making you look like this, and you've taken 500 photos before you've used that photo, so that kind of,
she's definitely worth a look. Her social media is great for just being that and being like, this is nonsense.
Yeah, and
because she does it like that's part of her life. Well, she's an actress, isn't she?
Yeah, she is now. Yeah.
And,
so you could look into kind of that business side of it. But also, why don't you? I might have missed it, but did you link it to a specific organisation? Could you make something that could be linked to an organisation like Mind or something, or a local organisation?
I haven't, but I could look into that.
Yeah.
It's a good destination thing to look at. Yeah,
Yeah.
mental health charity kind of things around it.
Are you going to use it like a campaign again, like a campaign try and stop bad social media?
Not really, because although I am kind of saying that it is negative, I know that there is a lot of positives to social media as well. So basically, like the main thing I'm trying to do is just make sure that young people, especially who are maybe struggling with self-esteem and mental health, know that they shouldn't have to get a certain amount of likes to feel good about themselves or something. Just trying to turn it into a positive, basically.
I think it's a really good project. I really like this. My only comment that I've written down is that you talked about lots of sort of parts of it. I'm worried it might become a bit unwieldy and that you try to do a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of that and a bit of that.
Yeah, I got it. I agree.
But actually, I think you do have a handle on what you want the result to be, and that might just become as part of your planning and going, actually, I can lose that bit of it in a way. But that might be something just to bear in mind of like keeping the project really nice and tightly packaged in terms of actually that'll good next to that and that, and not just throw everything at it and see what works at the end. It might come in the edit. You might film it all and just go, actually, that bit no use, or I can use that for something else, but it's not part of the main piece. But that's my only sort of concern. I think you've got a good idea, and I think there's a lot you can really look into. It's so relevant and so prevalent in the world. It's just whether you if you try and go into all those things,
Yeah.
it'll become a bit unwieldy. But I think I'm not massively worried about that. You just got something you may have to bear in mind a bit.
Yeah, I've thought about that myself as well, because as I've been doing my research, obviously there is the whole cyberbullying to it side and everything. There is like so much to it, and so obviously I'm just trying to focus on one thing. But
Yeah.
I think I've been saying to some students stay away from surveys because I think they're quite inconsequential. Like they don't really contribute. But I think a survey for this type of thing would actually work. I think you would get a good response for that, because I think you're talking about social media, and if you asked for feedback on about questionnaires and things on social media, I think they would get a good response, because it is such a hot topic. Everyone does it. You know, everyone's on social media.
And it is absolutely toxic.
It is
horrible.
It is awful.
But it is what it is. But yeah. Everyone finished?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.